Justin, can you compare how you felt? You looked like you were in complete command out there today. How did that compare to last week?
I mean, I felt really comfortable before the game, so just really that confidence from last week that I gained, I felt like it was a big help in today's game.
And first row, Tim.
What does it mean for J.K. Dobbins to kind of get off today, launch, et cetera, for the offense going forward?
I think that kind of gave him a big dose of confidence too. I mean, the O-line did a great job with the run game and the pass game, so it all starts up front.
Front row, Bill.
Justin, last week obviously you had the fast start, and then the whole team kind of tailed off. This was much more of a complete effort. When you watch what you guys did, see what you guys did, what's the potential for this team? How good do you feel about where you guys can be based on today?
I mean, I think we can be as good as we want to be. So, I mean, if everybody stays focused, we limit the injuries on the team, I think we can do big things this year.
To the left, Ari.
Justin, you made a comment during fall camp about when you went into games at Georgia, you always wanted to make that extra yard or do something to get your coach's attention. It seems like you've played very smart football for the first 2 weeks, no crazy turnovers, no trying to force things. How hard has that been, or maybe it was easy for you to stay within yourself, take what the defense gives you, and just play smart football?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Day, he's emphasized just taking care of the ball and just being smart. So just having him in my ear after every drive, it just reminds me to do that.
You can be playing like that.
I mean, as I said, myself and the team, I think we can be as good as we want to be this year. So, yeah.
To the right, Jared.
Hey, Justin, you mentioned after last week's game, when a play would break down, there were moments where you didn't feel like you and the receivers were quite on the same page in terms of those scramble moments, and it seemed like you made some big plays in that area today.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the week of prep and maybe where you all went to work in that regard, how it paid off today?
Yeah, we worked on it a good bit this week, so we're still not where we need to be, but I think we're going to keep improving and just be where we want to be by the end of the season.
Where did that improvement come from?
It's just like practicing scramble drill, just run around, even plays on air, just kind of running around and kind of having the receivers flow with me. So just all of that practice.
To the left, Bill Landis.
Justin, is the one you threw to Chris down the sideline a good example of what you're talking about there?
Yeah, I mean, that particular play, the corner was playing off, and I think he pushed Chris out of bounds. But, yeah, I mean, really just finding an open space and getting open and just making a play.
I think it was your second touchdown run. J.K. threw a pretty good block. I don't know. Do you see that happen in real time?
I mean, J.K. told me before the play just follow me, so I followed him, and we got in the end zone.
To the right, Clay.
What did you anticipate today? Was this, I mean, seemed fairly methodical, just boom, boom, boom. Were you expecting a tougher fight from the other side?
I really wasn't expecting anything, really. I just know if our team focuses and executes on both sides of the ball that it'll be a good outcome.
Dan Hope, middle.
Justin, just when the offense is able to continue doing what you start the game doing, unlike last week, what are the things that you think you were able to do as an offense this week so that they wouldn't be able to adjust, they wouldn't be able to take you out of your game?
Wait, you said what? Sorry.
What do you think you were able to do as an offense this week that they weren't able to take you out of your game that you guys were able to?
We just sustained the tempo we had at first, like to start off the game. Last week we kind of tailed off. So this week, Coach emphasized just sustaining all that tempo as the game goes on. So I think we did a pretty good job of that.
To the left, Steven.
Justin, how do you think you've improved over the past week just as a pocket passer?
I mean, I really don't know, to be honest, but I think the receivers and I are getting a better feel of each other. So we just got to keep going and just get ready for Indiana next week.
And like at times you were kind of forcing yourself a little bit to have a little bit more patience than you had in week one.
Not really. I have faith in the O-line, so I know I'll have time, but I really wasn't forcing myself to stay back there. I was just kind of feeling it out, really.
And last question, Steve.
Yeah, Justin, the play to Garrett Wilson, the touchdown, looked like you put it only where he could get it, and he goes up over the guy, makes a great play. Just go through that play, like what you're looking for, and what's it mean for him, his first career
I mean, for me and Garrett, and I think everybody else on the team, they know that that's not a circus catch for Garrett. That's pretty much routine for him. So he definitely had my trust. He gained all of that in spring and just summer. So when I saw that, I already knew he was going to catch the ball. So yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Thanks.
Mic check, 1, 2. Well, that I know. Unfortunately, the speakers have gone down, so.
Just want to start off by saying again, what an unbelievable crowd. For a noon kickoff again, I think Jerry just said it was 105,000. I think they were all in their seats for the kickoff. And again, that meant a lot to us. We came from the Skull session and had a ton of people in there cheering us on, and then we felt it throughout the game. And I know that, for any team coming in here, that can be overwhelming. And feeling Buckeye Nation again was really important for us. And again, couldn't be more thankful for the students and for everybody who showed up today. So I think that really got us going early in the game. We started fast, and then I think we were able to sustain it throughout the second half.
We'll open up questions over to the right. Austin?
Ryan, at one point you called last week kind of just a funky game. How different does this one feel compared to week one for you?
Yeah, I don't think this one was as funky. I thought that we got out to the 28-0 lead. It was at halftime. Wasn't as fast and furious. And then we had to regroup at halftime and then come out and win the third quarter. We talked about doing a great job coming out at halftime. And, but that was something we were emphasizing really all week because it just didn't leave a great taste in our mouth coming off the field last week. But I thought we sustained it and finished it the right way this week.
Far left, Bill?
Ryan, what did you think of the way that J.K. came out today, and what did you think of his block to spring Justin there on that touchdown?
Yeah, I think J.K. was irritated all week. Just the same kind of thing. It just nothing fit right last week. It just didn't feel right. It was kind of one of those strange opening games, but we worked hard this week. Stud in the O-line did a great job. I mean, I'm not sure if there was one snap they didn't blitz. I mean, they were blitzing from sideways, every which way, and the guys covered it up. They hit us on a couple early on, but then we started to cover them up. And J.K., when he got to the second level, he was rolling today. And I thought it was great to get J.K. going, and the O-line did an unbelievable job with that. And a tribute to Kevin Wilson, tribute to Stud and all the guys who worked on that this week. I thought the scout team gave an excellent look all week. That's really, really important. It was real. And so when we went out to the field, we were able to execute.
Over to the right, Tim.
Ryan, you spoke all summer about how you thought the defense was going to be better despite our questions about it coming off last year's stuff. Does today's performance certify your faith, your confidence in where y'all are going that way?
I think it's another step in the journey. It's what we've seen in practice every day. I know going up against them in spring and then during preseason, I knew they were going to be tough, and they're getting there. It's not a finished product by any means, but they're getting there. And I think, what Greg Madison, Jeff Hafley, and that whole entire defensive staff has done to kind of put that all together, get those guys, coming off the ball. Larry Johnson's guys up front, I thought, owned the line of scrimmage today, did a really good job. They were flying around, and that's kind of what we envisioned when we put this together. We all got together, I guess, back in January when it all came about. But this is a great start for those guys. I thought they were running around again, tackling well, creating turnovers against the good Cincinnati team.
Over to the left, Ari.
Hey, Ryan, before you got up here, did you catch the end of the Michigan game?
No, what happened?
They won in overtime. I just didn't know if you were watching it down there.
No. We were singing and dancing in the locker room.
You've been envisioning this game, I think, for a long time, given the importance of it and being an in-state staff or an in-state program with Luke and stuff. In terms of just everything that went today, where is this team in comparison to maybe where you might have envisioned it being when you would think about it this summer?
I don't know. I still don't know. I think today was another step, though, in the journey. It was the right step. Where we want to be. We talked about coming into the game. We want to be the best in the country at what we do. And that's not easy to do. I mean, a lot of people can say that. But we take a lot of pride in that. So if it's Drew Chrisman, Drew Chrisman has to be the best punter in the country. I thought today he was awesome. Liam McCullough has to be the best long snapper in the country. And with that comes seriousness. And, we want to have the best defense, the best offense, the best special teams. And so with that comes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice. And I think we're on the right journey that way. But we're going to conference play next week, and we have to start all over again. Because when you come into the game, so much comes into it preparation-wise, physically, emotionally, mentally, to make sure you execute what you need to execute on Saturday. And so we have to start that journey again. Every game in college football, to me, every week is a whole new season. And so we have to keep building on this. But I thought it was good to get some depth into the game again in the second half and see those guys play and fight all the way to the end.
Over to the right, Jared.
Hi, Brian. You mentioned this week that you thought one of Justin's best plays last week was him throwing a ball away in the third quarter with a defender in his face. Was there a moment today that maybe would be off our radar that you saw him make that gave you hope for where he's going?
There were actually a few, but the one offhand was in the second drive when we got the ball back. We were in the red zone. We called a play action pass. We were expecting man coverage. We did not get man coverage, and they played zone, and there was nowhere for him to go. He stuck his foot in the ground and scored a touchdown on the run. And his ability to do that for us is kind of the X factor, because if it's there, we take it, and we're pretty efficient throwing the ball right now, which is good. Got a long way to go, but we're getting there. But then his feet are the X factor. And if we can just keep us on schedule, we don't need him to scramble for 80 yards, but if he can turn a 1st and 10 shot into 2nd and 6, that keeps this offense on schedule. And, the only time we really got ourselves off schedule was the holding call, I think, on the first drive. We were rolling, and that's kind of what happened to us the week before. But then from then on, I don't think we had any more holding calls, and so we got ourselves in rhythm. But overall, I thought it was a solid performance, but another step in his progression.
Over to the left, Doug.
Ryan, it seemed like Justin was comfortable outside of structure and in structure today. For instance, he had the one where he was directing traffic and then threw it long to Olave and came back a few plays later, I think, and hung in the pocket and hit Garrett Wilson in the end zone for a touchdown. Just both facets of him throwing like that today. What'd you think?
Yeah, and I think that's what we've all been talking about, in these press conferences, and we've been talking to him about that in the preseason, is that once it becomes live, now you find out what it's like. And once you get out of the pocket, there's times you got to throw it away. There was a time where we did have a play action pass. I think they dropped 8 again on us. They popped that on us. And he took a sack, I think, for like -4. All he had to do was throw the ball away, something he can learn from. He did throw some others away. He did create, too, because he can create. He can buy himself some more time. I think our receivers got to do a little bit better job of staying with him and getting open, because we call it second part of the route, and he's able to do that for us. So, again, another learning opportunity for everybody.
Over to the right, Clay.
I don't think you ever allowed them to feel good on offense. Was it just base defense, win one-on-one battles, you're just whipping them, at the line of scrimmage?
I don't think it's that simple, but I do think we did win the line of scrimmage. They do a good job. They got a good team, and they have a good scheme over there. And no, it's not that simple. There was some things that I thought we did schematically that were good, but at the end of the day, it comes down to toughness. It comes down to tackling and winning the line of scrimmage.
Did you think Chase was going pick six right there?
Oh, well, yes, I did, actually. I almost blew out my Achilles jumping up and down because I thought we had that thing. I still feel it a little loose right there. But then, Chase also comes back with the blocked field goal. And, that anytime you have a chance for a blocked field goal, there's a chance that thing goes back. And it kind of hit his finger and went back, and Damon caught it but couldn't quite return it. But that's what we're trying to get done. And that was a big play in the game, kind of a momentum swing for us early.
Front row left, Bill.
Ryan, two questions. First, how concerned were you coming into this game, given that UC is a good team, Luke Fickell was going to have these guys motivated? And second, I know it's only week 2 and you'll find things that need to be corrected, but can you start to see the potential of this team?
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves at all. We'll get on the film and keep working at it. But yeah, we were very concerned. This is a team who's won a lot of football games. They're very sound. They create a lot of problems on defense. Like we said, they blitz every snap, so you really got to do a good job in preparation. And again, credit to our staff. We put a lot of time in trying to fit up all these blitzes. But yeah, we were concerned. I do think though this team has a chance. But the goal is to be 1-0. And I know, again, I say that all the time. It sounds cliche, but if you can't get ahead of yourselves, we got to enjoy this win and then on to Indiana.
Third row right, Tony.
Ryan, you mentioned the 2 throwaways, but Justin was still 20 of 25 passing. How would you assess his accuracy and his ability to put the ball where it needs to be?
Yeah, there was some really accurate throws out there. I thought the touchdown to Garrett Wilson was off the charts. Throw and catch there, that was NFL material right there. Top shelf is what we call it in the back of the end zone, and then the catch for Garrett, which Garrett had a mistake early in the game, and he could have gone in the tank. He didn't. He came right back and made a big catch for us, and that's what we need. We need guys to make plays in the red zone, and receivers and quarterbacks make their money on third down in the red zone, and they did. But there were some other ones I can't really remember. The back shoulder, I'll tell you what, the back shoulder fade between he and Ben Victor was off. That was really big time because that's something we work really hard on, and we talk about all the different things that come with that. That doesn't just happen. And challenge Ben. If Ben can win those one-on-one battles for us, we'll go, because it starts with the ex-receiver. He makes that play, and then we go on to score that drive. And again, that kind of kickstarted us a little bit too.
Time for 2 more questions. Over to the left, Rob.
Ryan, I know you're a former quarterback. How much, everyone's talking about Justin, how much are the receivers helping him? You said that maybe they need to keep up with him. Can you explain that a little bit, and are you happy with the receiver play so far?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think guys are getting open. They're catching the ball for the most part. It's not all perfect, but we're building. We're working on this offense. We're figuring out what pass schemes fit Justin and fit the receivers that we had. When we lost Terry and Paris and Johnny last year, that was a whole different crowd. This is a whole new group. Tight ends are involved with it. The running backs are involved with it. So we're building. We're learning. You probably see some different pass combinations that we had in the past. Last year it was a lot more crossers than it is now, and so we'll keep building that package as we go. But I think the receivers are doing a good job. The older guys are stepping up, and then the young guys, we got to keep bringing them along.
And final question over here to the right, Dom.
Coach, you guys worked so hard in the offseason to get the defense back on track. Being able to preserve the shutout and the way you guys did at the end, what's it mean to your coaches and to your team to put a goose egg up there?
Yeah, well, again, it's a tribute to our defensive staff. I think they do a great job. Jeff and Greg, and then Al is doing a really good job with those linebackers. Larry's, we all know how great he is, the best in the country at what he does. And Matt Barnes helping out, in the back end as well. And those guys, to me, put together a great game plan. But they're preaching fundamentals, they're preaching technique, and they're preaching running the ball, pursuit, tackling, and the guys are doing it. But the challenge was that last week when some of the depth got in there, they went right down the field and scored on us, and that didn't sit well with those guys. And so the challenge was to not let them score. And they got good teams. They're a good team, and they got good players. And so they went right down the field. But to strip the ball out on the 1-yard line shows that we got a backbone, shows that we're going to keep fighting. And I thought that was a good sign for the defense.
Coach, thank you very much.
I'm going to answer your question.
Sure, I can't get my arm up there.
What's up, everybody?
Jeff, you talked a lot in the summer about wanting to see your defense play with confidence, and,
Right.
and it seemed like they showed up last week confident. Obviously, that came out again today. Just how did you foster that throughout the summer? How do you get a group to be confident in this game even before they start?
Yeah,
playing games?
good question. I think that when guys know what they're doing and they trust what they're doing and they do it over and over and over again, they become confident in it. I think when you don't know what you're doing, you're usually not confident. I think our coaches, I think our defensive staff did an incredible job today, along with our whole entire staff. But speaking defensively, I think the staff did a great job preparing them. We knew exactly what we were going to get, and our players were confident in that. They were confident in the technique, the scheme, and then you just got to give those guys credit. They played fast and physical for the whole entire game today, and I think the players deserve a ton of credit.
When they're getting there in both games, they're hitting guys hard. And that, like, did you coach them up on that, or is that just a byproduct of playing with confidence?
Say it again?
Did you coach them up to hit as hard as they're hitting? It seems like every time someone gets there, they're playing.
I wish I could take credit for that. I just think, again, I think it comes down to they're playing fast, they're playing physical, and what Coach Day and the rest of the staff has been doing is preaching about being tough, and I think that's what you're seeing.
Jeff, how much, like, when you have a Chase Young out there,
yeah,
for what the pressure he's putting on, what impact does that have for the rest of the guys?
It's huge. I mean, you get them behind the sticks, or you get them to third down, and good luck. I mean, that's what it looked like today from upstairs. You know, we pressured a little bit more than we had. We showed a lot more than we had. Well, not a lot, but we showed enough. But just watching that D-line get after it's awesome. And the one thing, and again, you guys have all been really good to me, I want to make sure that I say this is, you guys saw Damon Arnett got hit on that go ball at the end of the game, and I know he was frustrated. I had told Damon he was done for the game. Damon actually had unbuckled his shoulder pads. Seven Banks was going in. Seven got hurt on the kickoff, so Damon ran on the field. Unfortunately, you know, I'm not using that as an excuse for Damon by any means, but I credit him for going in, and as a coach, I take responsibility for that. I told the player he was out, so I admit my mistake. So I just want to have Damon's back on that so everybody understands that.
That part too, like, he seemed like he was defensive last week about dropping the pick, and he's got a cast on his hand.
Yeah.
How do you?
No, I wouldn't. That I just think that, you know, a young guy's a young guy doing that. But as far as what happened at the end of the game, I credit him for going in. But I felt bad for that. So I won't talk about that again, but I want to say that's on me, and I respect Damon, and I thought Damon played a really good game.
Does a shutout mean anything extra significant? And what was your reaction when that fumble?
Yeah.
I imagine you about lost it.
I did. A shutout, to me, at any level is so hard to get, and I think for the staff and for the players, I think it's special. It's hard to shut out anybody, and I think that's a good offense. It's a good football team. It's well coached. They have a good scheme, a really sound scheme. They've been scoring on everybody. The quarterback's a good player, so it's special. It is hard to do. Gosh, I mean, at the end of the game, I was like, all right. And then there we go. We got the ball out. But that just shows that those guys fought until the end. So to strain to get the ball out there, I mean, credit to the players. It's awesome.
Jeff, why were you guys so effective against the run?
I think our scheme's very sound. I think our D-line and linebackers and corners and safeties tackled well again. Guys were in the right fits. I think they were coached well all week by our staff. And our guys came to play. Our guys were tough today. They tackled today. And I think when we turn on the film, you're going to see it. I mean, our guys are playing with an edge to them right now, and it's going to be hard to block them.
Do you think that last year has anything to do with that? I mean, he had a chip on his shoulder.
You got to ask. You got to ask. You got to ask Sam. I don't want to talk about last year, and I'm sorry to avoid your question, but right now what we've seen is with those guys that went out and done in the first two games, we're proud of them.
Jeff, what did you see when you got here on a Bear round compared to what you see now?
Confidence. He knows what he's doing. He's playing very fast and very physical. But I think the biggest thing for him is he's confident. I think Coach Washington's done a great job in preparing him to play. And I think you're seeing that now. I mean, from upstairs, it looks like he played pretty well.
Is there something that happened? Is there a moment that you guys can point to in the spring or the summer?
I think Coach Washington would probably be the best to ask that, so I can't point it out. I just think the more plays he makes and the more opportunities we give him, he's going to get better.
There were a few moments, I don't know how many times you did it, but when he weren't rotated back and single deep safety, what makes you confident in doing that? Why is he someone who you're willing to do that with?
He's athletic. He's way more athletic than anybody gives him credit for. So that gives us a little bit of a weapon that he can move around and do things that you or people don't think that he can do, right? So Pete's an athletic guy. I mean, he can play a lot of different spots. So it's fun to have him out there. You can do different things.
Do you feel like there's any risk with it, or do you feel like he's worthy of that?
If there was risk, I don't think we'd run it. So I think we feel pretty confident in Pete doing that. Good question.
Such a complete game for you guys, Jeff, defensively. What are you most pleased with just from your guys defensively?
The way they started, I think the way they came out of the locker room, it didn't matter today who we were playing. They were going to come out and they were going to get after somebody. So the way they started, and then even more importantly, the way they finished, because last week we were sitting here and I had that weird feeling in my stomach like we didn't finish, but today we did. So that's what I'm most proud of today.
Hey, Jeff, when you look at just what people might have thought of this defense when you first got here and where you are now, where does that match up in terms of the progress? Are you on schedule in your mind? Are you ahead of schedule?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think we got better from week 1 to week 2. I think when we look at the tape, I think we'll see that. So I think we just got to get better every single week. It's hard for me to say where I thought we'd be. Guys, I had no idea. Going to that first game, I was anxious, just like I told you guys. Today I was kind of anxious because a little bit different of a test. You know, again, I think that's a good football team, and I credit their staff and their players. But we got better. So I think if we can continue to do that each week, I think we have a chance to be a pretty good defense.
Jeff, we know if your guys don't work and go hard and listen, it doesn't matter. But when they do that, with the talent that you have, some of the guys on this defense, are you seeing that come out? And with your experiences as a coach, what's the context that you can put that in of some of the skills that these guys have?
Well, I do. I've always said they've recruited really well here, and I think we have good players on every level. And again, I think the biggest thing is they've studied hard, they work hard, they know what they're doing, and they're playing fast, and they're tackling, and they're being physical. So again, a credit to the defensive coaching staff, even more to the players for buying in. We really appreciate that. We've got work to do. We have to continue to get better, and we're going to look at the tape, and we're going to see some things that we don't like too. And now you can coach them harder after a win like this. So we'll be tough on them, and we just got to get better next week. We have to keep getting better every week. Okay? I appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Folks, we're going
Folks,
we have J.K. Dobbins.
Coach Day said he sent you were irritated last week. Just can you walk us through how you were feeling coming up before the Atlantic game and how
I didn't feel good about last week, but that's last week.
Why didn't you feel good?
I didn't play good. Let's just put it behind.
What would you say you learned from last week coming into this game?
Just don't press, just stay with the game plan and just run like I know how to run.
Who do you think was there this week? What you think was there this week that wasn't there last week?
Probably my focus. I was a little more focused on me instead of everything else. I think that helped a lot.
I think people are going to be blocking the touchdown for Justin there. What was that like for you to have a block like that?
It was amazing. I honestly like blocking, doing a great block better than like a touchdown. It's a great feeling.
Did they put you in a game specifically for that play? Because you went in, and the master came out.
I guess so.
Yeah. What is it like to make a block like that, J.K.?
It's ecstatic. It makes you gives you a lot of energy after that.
So you get more out of that than the 6-yard touchdown?
That's about what I want.
Today was not a failure for you, was it? We keep using that word that you use, but to get off the 61-yard run, what does that do for you just from a confidence standpoint?
It's great, but I gotta keep getting better. Yeah. Maybe next week I'll have a long one.
What are you seeing from this offensive line that you like? What's standing out?
This boy's good. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. You can't define what you mean by good?
They're tough. They're a great offensive line. I mean, I don't know what else to say. They're great though. I love those guys.
JK, after your long touchdown run, you had a run where a guy hit you in the backfield. It almost looked like he wrapped his hands around your helmet. He got away from it and got 8 yards. I'm wondering which kind of runs are sort of markers for progress for you more, that kind of run or the long touchdown?
I honestly think like that type of run is better for me, so I can show that I can do other things except for run fast. I can make some people miss.
With Justin's passing game, how does that complement your running? How does that open it up for you?
It keeps the defense guessing. They can't just load the blocks up like so it'll help a lot.
JK, how important was it for you to get that big one today? Like, I know you've been, last season there was a lot of talk about stressing about trying to get the big one, right? Last week, kind of sometimes it looked like you were maybe doing the same thing. To come out today and get it, what did that mean to you?
It means a lot, you know. I'm blessed. I'm thankful for that, but we'll put that behind me and try to create some more, put on a show.
Was that one a hit because you were more patient on the off the block, or what do you remember about that play?
Yeah, it was patient off the block. Jonah and Derek blocked well over there, so the whole offensive line.
You don't go 60 yards untouched very often.
Yeah, for sure. I tell you, the whole line's playing at a high level right now.
How much of you and Justin like growing in the read option? It seemed like you got a little more in sync than you were last week.
Last week was, I thought last week was pretty good, the read option, but I think we're getting better and better as time goes on. Just keep practicing on it and keep getting better.
It's a great block to spring Fields for the touchdown. Talk about how important that is in the running back position to throw a block like that.
I think it's very important. It shows that I'm not selfish, and it shows that I can do more than just run the ball.
How much do you enjoy delivering?
Last question for JK.
A lot. I enjoy it. It's like a rush. It gives me a rush.
Are you happy with your performance today?
I'm okay with it.
Just okay? Yeah. Are you going to ever tell us if like you're really, really happy about a performance?
My freshman year after the Big Ten championship game, I was happy about that one. All right, thank you.
We're getting